we would welcome them as well. So, mm, well, today we are having classes after a gap of 1 week, and we have these 4 classes. In between, one class was not kept, also one because there was a particular webinar with the help of an expert from Malaysia, which was scheduled. So we thought we'll allow people to watch that also. However, it is on a sad note that I would be starting the session today because one of our um, colleague, LC member, Mr. Kovid Raju, passed away today. He was battling with COVID, and it has been about 24, 25 days or more so that he had been in the in hospital. And in between, I had exchange of messages, and a couple of times I had talked to him also. So he was quite cheerful and saying, well, no problem, I'm getting better and I'll come back. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. He was used to be off and on acting as the faculty also of different papers. He was joint director at Institute of Secretariat Training and Management, and and he was a career professional. Career means career trainer. Means he was for a long time he had been in training, profession, and would have continued in that only. Uh, about few months ago, maybe 2-3 months ago, when I had a detailed talk with him, he had been offered a post of director in Hyderabad, but his present director here requested him to stay back, and to my knowledge and my this, he was about 56-year-old only, and from that point of view, not very old also. Would have he remained in service for 4 years and then retired. So that's the unfortunate thing that we have had today. We have had some losses in the ISTT fraternity. A couple of days ago, one of our national president, past national president Shekhar Arora, had died. In Delhi, we had, earlier in December, lost Mr. Prabhat Varshney. We have lost people in places like Baroda and few other places also. So it has been a sad, it has been a, you know, tough time for us as a fraternity. We have been losing people, of course, because we are an all India, organization. So we keep getting sad messages from different parts of the country. I do hope that all of you would, in this, would certainly follow what the doctors say, and do take care of yourself and do take care of your families. So, today's session on this, I would be looking at this whole topic, which has to be covered, was communication skills. Now, you all being trainers, you are in any way very good communicator, right? So in a way, you don't need to go through the basics of communication, etc., which many of you would have been teaching yourself, right? Now, what is it that I would be looking at and trying to communicate or tell you about communication and presentation skills or communication skills is, essentially, I was thinking, what is it that you might be sort of, really looking at, and how you would be able to sort of, add some extra as a trainer to your kitty. So what I thought was that important thing is about understanding the non-verbal communication. Now, the utility of non-verbal communication is much more when you are face to face, and there is a challenge when we are, having a virtual class. Non-verbal communication and its use is less there because number one, first of all, it is you who's as a trainer, your face is visible. Many others would really keep their videos off, and that creates a problem, right? So there are two aspects of the non-verbal communication that I'll really be talking about. This one is that how do you handle your own body language, right? Non-verbal communication is also called body language. And the second would be when you are there in a classroom situation, how do you read the body language of your participants and therefore from there get the required feedback from them, right? So these are the two aspects that I would be trying to focus on. But before I can focus on that, I thought I'll just go through a primer on the body language. And the primer means something which many of you would already be aware, but I may like to just share it as a quick, say, quick updating of ourselves. So I'll do it with the help of a PPT that I have got and I do use sometime. We sort of, now in the face-to-face communication, we typically have this sort of, figure or this sort of, say, research, some researchers have showed that the importance of words in what we say is only about 7%. The second important part is the tone in which we say, how we speak. This is about 38%. And then the body language is something which in fact has a 55% sort of, role. Now, obviously, you can always sort of, say that maybe, these percentages may be a little here and there, may not be very accurate, but yes, it essentially gives an idea that the body language, in fact, has a very important part in conducting a training or in our communication, right? So, looking at this, well, let's understand the whole field of nonverbal communication. We why generally we study body language is to be able to understand people better. The second aspect is to use as a protective armor. In fact, what you say is if you have negative feelings, you would like to mask your negative feelings. For example, if you are getting scolded by your boss and you are getting angry, well, it might be more useful to remain and not demonstrate your anger on your face. So the negative feeling of anger that you might be having, it might be important for you to mask it. Keep quiet because you know that there are consequences can be little harsh, right? The third, of course, is to use body language appropriately to be able to convince, to be able to influence the people, to be able to communicate more effectively with the people, right? So that's the way. So you can understand the masking, right? Many times we do that. We are getting bored when somebody is speaking, but we keep a smile on, right? So that's the type of things we do, right? Now, some people also say that, when we meet the people, it is right in the first few seconds, the type of first impression that is created is what really matters. So the question would be, yes, I'll give you 4 seconds to impress me, time is up. Means like in the first 4 seconds, if you can give me the correct answer or you can impress me correctly, that is. However, this particular thing has got is controversial, not necessarily true, because many times the first impressions may not be the correct impressions, right? And in fact, this is where, as professionals, we must be really sort of, going beyond the first impressions. Where, so when you see a group of participants and you find that some of them don't seem to be very eager, very attentive, or so, and you might say this person and that person, these two might be a problematic persons. Now, if you have that sort of view and you are having a bias, it might be that you will miss out on those people. So essentially, what I typically say is, don't bother so much about the first impression, but yes, people do make their judgment with the help of first impression, right? Therefore, if you are going for a uh, interview, and typically a job interview, it will be very important for you to see that you are able to make a good first impression, right? And your body language is very, very crucial for creating a creating that sort of effective, emphatic first impression, right? So, so now it is not what you convey, but how you say it. And there are so many examples I could have used, but right now I'm not really trying to do it because more easy to do it in a classroom situation, right? Okay, so this is in fact the art of listening beyond words, right? So in communication of attitude and feelings, words will play a minor role. What will be important is the body, the facial expression, and also the tone might be more important, right? So many times it so happens is that even without saying anything, you can communicate a lot, right? And this is the art of communication that one perfects and one polishes over the years, right? So what are you really saying? This person is really making, very, very enthusiastically presentations, and others are all getting very bored, right? Okay. Now, I would just put the whole nonverbal communication in these few categories. One is the issue of space, which essentially is also an issue of distance, right? The second is about posture. The third is about gesture. Then there is an issue of body contact, the eye contact, and the facial expression. So we'll go over these in a very, very quick manner, and would like to draw something so that we can later on. So first is the space and proximity. As in the space or proximity, of course, there. Okay. Uh, they seem to be enjoying being close to each other, right? But not every time everyone enjoys being very close, because in a intimate situation, in a family situation, or in a love situation or so, that might be all acceptable. But in a formal situation or an office situation, being very close to each other may not be desirable at all, because you might be sort of intruding into what is called the personal space of the people. Okay, I don't have it here, but there is this whole issue of public space, social space, personal space, right? So that thing, many of you would have already done it. And typically, In terms of training, how it is useful also is essentially two elements of that. Number one, when you are adopting a win approach, I hope you remember from the instructional design session, tell, sell, win. Okay, here also we had used that, tell, sell, or win. If you are using the win approach, it will be essential that you get close to the people. So the proximity is quite an important issue when you are using a win approach. You should not be really seen as being far off from the people. But if you are using a tell approach, there is no problem. You can be far off. You can be addressing 100 people. And even if your lectern, that is your podium, is 10 feet away or 20 feet away from the main auditorium, it doesn't really matter, right? As long as everyone can see you, and as long as there is a projection mechanism which shows you on the screen to everyone, right? So that's the important issue as far as trainer is concerned in terms of proximity. The second issue that I really come to is the posture, and in fact, you can really see that this is not the right posture that the boss seems to be adopting, because the junior, she is feeling uncomfortable about the boss leaning on to leaning close to her, right? So this is important, and there are many other things, what we can really say. If we really look at what are the ineffective postures is when you are slouching. Slouching means thoda jhukna, kamar seedhi na rakhna, ya, the back is not straight. So slouching. Carrying files across your chest may again not be a good posture. Tapping foot shows a certain sort of anxiety that you are going through, or so. And turning your back from a person who is speaking, sometimes people can do it. You are like, you have asked a question, you are asking question, and the person is replying. That is some person in the audience is replying, and you suddenly turn your back and don't completely listen to the person. That is not a correct posture. The other thing that we do feel is the hands in pocket. Now, obviously, in a virtual environment, you can't see whether I have my hands in my pocket or not. Obviously, my hands are not in pocket. Otherwise, how do I really move the slides, etc.? Right. But when you are speaking in front of a group of people and you are in audience, if you keep your hands in pocket, it is a bad posture. Why? Because it is showing as if you are very egoistic, right? Good. So that's a type of ineffective posture. So what is the effective posture? Let's look at it. You should stand erect, but in a natural manner, not like a soldier. Soldier बिल्कुल वैसे खड़ा हो जाता है ना, attention, वो वाला attention नहीं चाहिए, वो वाला erect नहीं होना चाहिए. सीधा खड़े होइए, natural तरीके से खड़े होइए. Arms should be by your side. Weight is evenly balanced on both the feet, which is showing you that you are confident. Rise also, it also creates what is called the stability of the body, right? Otherwise, sometimes some people start leaning on one side or so, and then sometimes they start leaning on a particular, on the lectern or sometimes on the table, and they end up sometimes even hurting themselves. So it will be important for us to understand that the balanced way of standing, etc., will be a very important posture that you should be adopting. Then I come to the another category, and that is called the gestures. In the gestures, see, again, it's an overview, it's not for full details, right? It's just an overview. You can, in fact, bring in so many other examples to all this. And I would like you to come up with a whole set of examples, right? But let me complete this part of the presentation and make it as a starter for this. So, for example, this gesture, what does it say? Anyone? What is this person trying to say? Yeah.
So gestures are the body movement, what you're talking about, or hand movements, what
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. So what is this person trying to communicate? What can you learn or what can you understand from his gesture?
He is emphasizing on particular point,
Okay. Yeah. And
showing the movement of his hand.
yes. So what is the hand gesture that is there? What is he trying to do? He's trying to emphasize. Yes.
Emphasize on a particular point, what he
Point.
is saying during that time.
Mhm. He could have emphasized other way around also by having a flat or no. Now this particular
Yes.
the gesture is called a chopping sort of gesture in the sense that he is cutting your argument. He is cutting the argument of the person who is opposite him. And no, so I is saying, no, you cannot do this. You can't do that. You are not correct, right? So that's when you are firmly, emphatically, and maybe if you are in more power compared to the other person, you are really communicating. I am cutting off your argument, and I no longer, I won't accept your argument, right? So that's the type of chopping thing. Okay, right. What is this fellow saying?
I'm the boss.
Yeah, I'm the boss. I'm the boss of this place. Listen to me. I have a large amount of ego. Don't argue with me, right? Okay, and obey me. Right. Okay. So this is right. Okay. What is this person saying? What does his body language seem to convey?
I think he's listening intently, like giving attention to the person in front.
Okay. Mhm.
So
So why
thinking,
does he have to close his hands like? Okay, that's right. But इससे आगे बढ़ो.
so thinking about something.
Okay, he is responding and in a very thoughtful manner. However, he might also be sharing his disagreement. That he's not sure whether he accepts your argument or what you are presenting, right? But he's open. He's open, but at the same time, he's like not straight away given or accepting your sort of argument. This is, in fact, those people who are in sales have to learn a lot about the body language, because what really happens is that if they don't understand the body language, they are not able to figure out how to put across their thing, and because they are not able to figure out कि वो जो सामने वाला है, जो प्रॉस्पेक्ट है, वो सोच क्या रहा है, समझ क्या रहा है, और उसको मुझे इस टाइम पर क्या कहना चाहिए, ये नहीं कर पाते. तो इसलिए इम्पोर्टेंट होता है इवन सेल्स पीपल टू लर्न अ लॉट अबाउट द बॉडी लैंग्वेज, राइट? Okay, now some of the gestures which have to be avoided are biting nails. It shows as if you have low confidence, etc. And कई बार हम लोग बहुत एक दूसरे लपक कर कहते हैं कि हाथ मिलाएं. अच्छा होता क्या है कि आजकल तो खैर हाथ मिलाना खत्म ही हो गया है, क्योंकि टच ही नहीं करना है दूसरों को, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग रखना है. But if that is allowed also, then also if you make sure that the customer or the other person is also going to respond to your attempt to shake hands. The scratching, right? That is something to be avoided. Another thing which has to be avoided is ये जो है ना गला साफ करते रहना ऐसे करके वो कर और कई बार होता है लोग ऐसा करते हैं कि क्या कहते हैं जब पहला शब्द ही शुरू करेंगे तभी ये करेंगे भाई अगर मान लीजिए आपको कोई परेशानी है तब तो बात दूसरी है तब तो आप अपना मुंह में अगर विक्स की गोली या और कुछ रख लें तो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा उससे क्या रहेगा गला तर रहेगा और आपको खांसी कम आएगी राइट इट माइट बी रिक्वायर्ड आल्सो एट सम और you keep talking even when you are in audience or you are looking at the watch very frequently. So what is it showing? You are not paying attention, right? Now as a trainer also, if you keep looking at watch frequently, ये ठीक नहीं होता. अच्छा इसका हम क्या करते हैं इसका हम इलाज कैसे करते हैं अगर हम क्लासरूम होता है ना तो क्लासरूम में जो क्लॉक है हम उसको जो स्पीकर है या ट्रेनर है उसके अपोजिट वॉल पर लगाते हैं अच्छा ऑडियंस की उस तरफ पीठ होती है ना उस क्लॉक को भी किस तरीके से देखना है ये एक आर्ट है मतलब ये कि अगर आप जानना चाहते हैं कि कितने टाइम हो गया कितना टाइम नहीं हुआ है तो क्लॉक को देखिए पर क्लॉक को ऐसे देखिए कि दूसरों को ऑडियंस को ना पता चल पाए क्योंकि जैसे ही आपने देखा और आपने अपनी वॉच को ही देखने लगे तो एवरीवन विल स्टार्ट सॉर्ट ऑफ विल बिकम एन attentive about as to how much time has gone etc and then they get into a different mood altogether right okay some people keep covering their mouth like this okay so what so that also shows as if पता नहीं वो क्या छुपाने की क्या कोशिश कर रहा है right और keep touching their hair I think ये दोनों अलग अलग होने चाहिए touching hair and all that right so these are the gestures to be avoided there will be many others also that you will be looking at and should I ask you now or should I ask you a little later maybe just 2-3 more things and then I'll throw it open right
So I have a query. Can we go to the previous slide?
Yeah.
In what context this talking gesture needs to be avoided? Rest gestures which are to be avoided are very explicit. I understand.
Yeah. This is actually called a temple gesture. तो temple gesture में क्या होता है कि मतलब कि
No. I was talking about talking. The one wherein there were list of gestures to be avoided were listed. So there the talking is there. Yeah, the fifth one.
हाँ talking का जो वो था issue वो ये था कि कहता है keep talking when you are in audience, right? And continuing to talk or so. That was the meaning.
For the audience, I thought it is for the trainer. It is for the audience to be avoided.
For the audience. Yeah, when you are in audience, right?
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because this particular slide was not exactly, only for the trainers. It can be used in different places. So that is why, you have some examples which might be in a different context, mean different things, right? Okay. So,
even sir, even certain trainers don't follow the basic rules. In between, some phone call comes during the session. If it is his boss, immediately he will say, "Oh, ideally he should say, excuse me, if it is so urgent." But many times they start talking without any mannerism.
Yes, they do. Many of the people have not fully mastered the delicate art of, what is called etiquette, right? So this is normal etiquette which should be followed, but they don't follow. Sometimes they feel ये जो होते हैं जो senior officers होते हैं when they are talking to very junior people, then they throw away all these this knowledge of etiquettes etc. to the dustbin. And that is, they will not do the same thing in front of others, like in front of senior people. But over there, they will start doing this type of thing. So one has to be careful, on that. Right. Good point. Yeah. So that's the. So what is this is happening? Some may have this sort of, I'll tell the issue about men also. Don't make me look at as if I'm gender biased. Yeah, sure. Right. होता है कुछ लोग क्या कहते हैं अपने ईयररिंग से ही खेलती रहती हैं तो वो it creates a distraction. Similarly, I have seen some people will have a pen in their hand and then they will keep doing this, all that. Some other something which is a gesture which might be totally distraction and it's not really required, right? Okay. So now I will come to the eye contact. It's very important that as a trainer, you must have an eye contact with the people. Now, when you have an eye contact, you get attention of your trainees. If you don't keep an eye contact and you keep only looking at beyond the trainers or beyond the trainees or somewhere far off in the on the horizon or something like that, you are in fact losing out, because when you have an eye contact, people start responding and paying attention to you. One of the key things, which you have in terms of, keeping an eye contact with the people is to show them that you are having an eye contact with them. Now I'll show you, even in the virtual environment. How are you feeling about this? Do I have an eye contact with you? Yes, no, maybe.
Excellent, sir.
Yes.
Right. And do I have an eye contact with you now?
No.
So what is happening is that it's a very simple thing that you must become aware of. When you are looking at the screen, some other place, people are able to figure out that you are not seeing them. Now, when I want to show my virtual audience that I'm seeing them, I should look straight into the camera, right? So when I am looking straight into the lens of the camera, that's when my audience members will feel that I have an eye contact with them. Now, I don't have an eye contact with them because you people have kept your videos off, but at least you are getting a sense that I am maintaining eye contact with you. So this is something which has to be kept in mind, and particularly when you are reading from the slide or otherwise you are not well prepared, then you do lose the eye contact, and therefore what really happens is you lose the effectiveness of communication, right? So it's on your side. You can show that you are maintaining an eye contact, right? So in a face-to-face situation, if you are using too little of eye contact, what really happens is you look very less confident. नया ट्रेनर है, नर्वस है, तो लोग उसको सोचते हैं कि चलो इसको टेस्ट करते हैं, राइट? ऐसा हो जाता है, तो ये एक बड़ी ये भी प्रॉब्लम है, right? On the other hand, if you are using too much of eye contact, then also there can be a problem. People can see that you are in a way very aggressive and sort of very dominating type of person, right? So let's see how one can really maintain what is called a balance between the two, right? So there are certain eye contact exercises that are suggested in case you have a problem. in keeping a good eye contact with your audience, start developing your confidence. And the few exercises are stare yourself in the mirror, have an eye contact with yourself in the mirror. Catch hold of your friends and do some role plays and see that during that period you're maintaining an eye contact with your friends, because friends are friends. So they will be, you will be more comfortable doing it. But you will find it difficult when you have to make or keep an eye contact with the audience, which is new, which is strange at this point of time, right? Is also another thing that don't start speaking to people until your eyes have met their eyes. In fact, in the sales talk, the first important thing is to build a rapport. The second is begin when you have the eye contact with the person. Many people will say, "Arey main sun raha hu," पर ज्यादातर कोशिश करिएगा कि आप आई कांटेक्ट रखें तभी। और कई बॉसेस का भी ये होता है, बॉसेस के पास जाइएगा, आप कुछ कहना चाहते हैं, वो अपनी टेबल पर फाइल रखी है, उसको पढ़ते रहेंगे, हाँ, और कहेंगे अच्छा अच्छा बोलो बोलो। अब आप बोलने में हिचकिचा रहे हैं, क्यों हिचकिचा रहे हैं पता नहीं, मेरी बात सुन भी रहा है नहीं सुन रहा है मेरा बॉस, राइट? तो वो हो जाता है। तो क्या है कि क्या कहते हैं, जनरली whenever somebody comes to you or whenever you are meeting somebody, when you begin talking, it's important for you to begin by having eye contact, because when you have an eye contact, you know that this person's mind is totally paying attention to what you are saying, right? Now, if you are the trainer and you are seeing that some of the people are not having eye contact with you and some are not much bothered also, then you can really, when you see that your nameplates are there of your trainees, you can always sort of say, okay, Suresh, what is your view? And suddenly Suresh sort of gets start saying, oh, I am being called, right? Or there can be, Ramesh, there can be Sundar, there can be different, everyone. So there is a way to involve them. There is a way to see that the people are sort of, connecting with you. And eye contact is a very important aspect of that connect part of it. That is connecting with you, right? So the face expression, important thing here is to have a very authentic expression. Sometimes we have what's called a false smile, right? If the eyes are not bright, if the eyes are not showing that you are happy to meet them, lights are on, but there is no one at home. That is the type of sense you get, right? Okay, so how do you fix your smile? Wish there was a smile fixative, not there, right? Okay, right. Good. Okay, just this and next are, I think, the concluding ones. Congruence in body language and gestures, it should be there. In fact, whatever you are saying, speaking, I think it should be the verbal and the non-verbal should be congruent with each other. Right, I won't get into too much of this. What really happens is, if there is a mismatch, that is, you are saying something, your words are saying something, but your tone is something different, people are not going to believe on what you are saying. They will believe on what your tone is saying. Right? Have you got that? Right? So that is right. Okay. I'll not really talk about these negative liquids. Okay, looking aggressive and being rude. Okay. Right. Okay. There are a few. Okay. This is also similar example. What about this one? What is it?
Not open to conversation.
Yeah. This is in fact called defensive. gesture. Typically, what happens is that the most vulnerable part of the body is, apart from the mind, the face, is whatever is contained in the torso. The heart is there, liver is there, everything, all the organs, important organs are there. So when you are, say, insecure, you try to have this sort of, thing which is called defensive posture, right? At that point of time, one of the things is that people feel that if you are defensive, they don't trust you. That's the problem. So if there is no trust element between the speaker and the listener, communication is not going to be effective, right? So that's yeah. So this is short, which I wanted to sort of share with you. Right now, you people must be knowing much more than all this that I have really talked about. Right? I would like you to tell me what is it that you would like to really focus on, or you would like to add to all this. Yeah.
So there are use of jargons when we speak.
Yeah. That's right.
Like you say, like I know something like that. क्या कहते हैं ऐसा कुछ बीच में बोलते हैं ना.
ये दूसरी बात हो गई. जार्गन एक बात हो गई. ये जो होता है ना, इसे कहते हैं फिलर्स
या
जो रिपीटेटिव होते हैं. तकिया कलाम हिंदी में कहते हैं तकिया कलाम. अरे भाई सुनो, हर बार कहेंगे, हर चीज कहेंगे अरे भाई, राइट. एक टाइम मेरा वो होता था, आई वुड रादर, so I would always use this thing, I would rather. So little bit of like at different points of time we have this. So
ऐसे बोलते हैं ना,
yeah, that's also very, very common thing. It is avoidable. You must
and generally, basically when we speak, that is the word which comes more basically.
Right. So oft repeated sentences or oft repeated phrases are something which you should try to minimize and reduce. Many times we use these because we cannot tolerate silence. For example, if you have got some sort of, you want to take 5 minutes or so to think through, not 5 minutes, 5 seconds to think through, you try to fill that place by saying, and all these things are avoidable. You must learn to tolerate the silence. And I think in due course of time, your audience will also start understanding that it's no problem. That not that this person has to keep talking every second, but this person is thinking and responding. Yeah, right. और बताइए, पांडे साहब कुछ बोल रहे थे?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to tell you something. Actually,
yes.
When we speak about our experiences and add some anecdotes, don't you think that gets very effectively registered in our mind?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is, in fact, a very important issue in terms of what is called using stories to communicate. Because देखिए, storytelling जो है ना, इसके ऊपर हमने वेबिनार भी किया था. और उसका क्या होता है कि आप कई बार देखेंगे कि अगर आपने अपनी जो बात कहना चाह रहे हैं उसको स्टोरी की फॉर्म में बताया है, then the people are going to learn a lot and they will remember also for a long time. Right. आपने देखा ना वो पंचतंत्र की जो कहानियां थी वो बताई गई थी, क्योंकि पंचतंत्र की कहानियां वो सिर्फ उन्हीं राजकुमारों के लिए नहीं बनाई गई थी जो कि रिलेटिवली मंद बुद्धि थे. वो तो हमें भी बहुत अच्छे लगती हैं और उनसे हम कितना कुछ सीखते हैं. Therefore, it will always be good to know and recall some of the good real life examples and their stories and people
Yeah.
remember. You know, that's a very good, I would say.
Yeah, experiences also, some good, some very relevant experiences.
That's right. That's right. Right. So, in fact, because of being a trainer, I keep sharing these stories which I learned from other people, which are actually the real life stories. And when I talk to my participants, they also tell me several stories. So this really gives me, over the years, it has given me a good number of stories which I can relate to and tell the people, you know, and what is important is at a right opportunity, the right type of story is to be told, right? So that is good. Yeah. Yeah. Others, yeah. Durga, are you able to get to this? You had some problem which I saw later on in connecting in the earlier session. Yeah. Okay. Sandhya, would you like to say something? Would you like to add to this your experiences in communication and you know, how trainers can be more effective communicators?
Sir, I think the tone of the voice also, like it's body language, of course, but even the tone of the voice and all in communication, it matters. So the smile in the voice sort of thing.
That's right.
The speaker, listener can find out there is a smile in the voice. Also.
Yeah. Because see, if today is Mother's Day, no? Right? So let's talk of this. If your mother is angry with you and then says, "Do you know that I love you?" No, you know, obviously. What is it that you really make out? She is saying that I love you, and you know that she loves me, my mother. But the problem is that right now she is angry with me. So you don't get that feeling that she is loving you. You are getting another feeling. And what is the feeling? That she is angry. So you start figuring out कि क्या करा है, क्या problem है, जिससे वो है. Good point. Yeah. Arpita, any point from you?
Yes, sir. I think that if it is a conversational approach that you have when you speak, it sits well with the audience because every speaker has their own way of speaking. But the more closer you are to a conversational approach, the better you keep their attention because the ups and downs of your vocal intonations, etc. It catches the audience better.
Yes. In fact, let's look at this aspect of conversational style. It has been discovered, in fact, a few decades ago, particularly when television came on the scene. And in America, particularly, they started looking at that if you are trying to campaign through the television, and if you are a candidate for the post of president, it's very important how you say, what you say, and things like that. Therefore, the first time, we had a good use of television, and its effect was in 1960, when a very good-looking president, John F. Kennedy, came, right? And so his looks were good, right? He was good looking. But the second thing was he was a very effective communicator. So he was able to communicate quite well on the TV, and he won, right? So from that time onwards, there has been a good amount of sort of, I would say, polishing, honing research on this whole issue of how do you communicate effectively, particularly using the television, etc. And over the years, one of the things which has been developed is what is called the conversational style. And the conversational style is where when you are trying to speak to an audience and there may be lakhs of people who are listening to you, what is happening is everyone feels as if that person is talking to him or her, right? Now, if you can develop the conversational style and you can effectively use it, you know, the satisfaction which your trainees will get from your training program, the, you know, feeling that they will get is that they are being talked to directly will be very high. Therefore, one should develop a conversational style, and conversational styles are quite effective, particularly for the type of, you know, soft skill programs or so. Maybe, you know, in a program which is highly technical or so, you may not require conversational style. But even there, you know, make it a little less formal, simple, you know, and any question comes, etc. You make the people feel at ease. That will be very, very important, right? So good point. Thank you. Right. Yeah, Ruchi Singh, your point. Yeah. Rahul, some point from you. So our friend from Ahmedabad, Bhumi, you should be able to say a lot. You have been a teacher, you know. So
I'm really sorry. Actually, in the adjacent vicinity that I stay, recently I saw a dead body being taken away, and there were a lot of people like crying and all. So a little kind of distracted due to that. While I was listening to the session also, but I mean those voices were still there, so feeling a little distracted. Sorry.
I'm not sure whether you have been able to communicate clearly because number one, थोड़ा आपकी आवाज कम थी. दूसरा ये कि आपने थोड़ा बहुत जल्दी बोल दिया. थोड़ा इस तरीके से बोलिए कि सिर्फ मुझे नहीं बाकी सारे सब लोगों को समझ आए. So I would request you to repeat it.
So she said she's little disturbed because someone in the neighborhood passed away and they just took away the body.
Oh,
that's what she said.
I'm so sorry because I couldn't really get her. Okay. I know. We are really like, you know, I thought of even once canceling the, this today, you know, because of Govind Rajlu's passing away. But then I said, okay, no, let me go ahead. We already had a gap earlier about that. Okay. No problem. Okay.
It was a little distraction. Really
sorry. No problem. Nivedita, would you like to say something? Okay, Pooja Prasannan. Am I correctly speaking your name? Okay, Amar.
Yes. Thank you, sir. I would like to share some of my funniest experience with this thing called presentation. When I started my career as a product executive, and presentation was something new for me, and I used to little bit getting jitters when this first presentation was the initial round. So I developed something as a trainer. I think everybody should develop certain things how they can develop themselves as a good presenter. That's what I feel.
Yeah,
initially, right. I used to feel whatever is there in the slides, I should know and I should read out and should not miss any point. But later on, over a period of I realized there is nothing called, there is audience does not know. There is this structured pattern or something. You can develop your own pattern. You just have to carry on with the flow Whether the points are up and down doesn't matter. And even there, what is there in the slide, that also doesn't matter to the way how you are speaking, how you are making them understand the subject. That is more important. And
That's
how you
right.
are creating a mesmerizing impact with your presentation. That is more important. At the same time, I followed initially certain tricks. What I used to do, I used to walk the pathway means throughout wherever the trainees are sitting. I used to reach in the back row so as to mingling with other trainees also while talking. Then I used to peep in the slide so that I can have a better view of the slide. So nobody sees me that I am seeing the slide. Then I used to come and walk away back to the front desk while talking again. And this technique was understood over a period of time by some of my colleagues. They said, you have so much of confidence that you exuberate that confidence that you know everything. How come? And now we realize that you are moving around and mingling with the participants. Go to the back row also, and you come with the connect with all the slides and all. Even though you don't practice too much with the slides, but you are very confident. I said, yeah, that is what I developed this knack.
Very good. In fact, this is how what one has to do is one has to keep on sort of practicing. That उनको ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि वो आप देखे जा रहे हैं, आप बिना स्लाइड के तो आप बिल्कुल ही बुरी हालत में होंगे. नहीं, आप क्या है कि आप स्लाइड्स को यूज कर रहे हैं, पर स्लाइड्स आर बीइंग यूज्ड बाय यू एज ए गिविंग यू द क्लू एंड नॉट नेसेसरली कि आप स्लाइड्स को ही पढ़ रहे हैं. स्लाइड पे आपका एक स्ट्रक्चर बना रहता है, पर मान लीजिए स्लाइड में 5 पॉइंट हैं और किसी ने कोई क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया और आपने पहले पॉइंट की बजाय 4th पॉइंट यू हैव एक्सप्लेन्ड. No problem. Go ahead, do it. Let it flow like this, and then you can again go back to the point number 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and when you come to the 4, you said that this we have already discussed about it and all that, right? So that's the type of thing that would be a good thing. Very good, right? Okay. Now, who else would like to share? Can I have Polarni?
So,
yeah, please go ahead.
So can I speak?
Yeah, please, yes.
So this is Ruchi here. I think you just mentioned my name, but somehow I missed that.
No problem.
What even we used to do as a trainer, I have been in the training sector since last 4 years. Yes, very right that we should have first full command on the presentation. We should be through with the subject knowledge, and once we are through with the subject knowledge, then we can keep on quoting some stories or some examples apart from the presentation. Presentation, as you said, so definitely it should be a big help, but then it's not that we read out word by word from the presentation.
That's right.
It should contain the bullet points, and the bullet points will be explained. That is the technique, that should be the tact that we explain the bullet points. And then when you have the command over the subject, then definitely, as the earlier speaker has said, we can move around in the class and we can observe who's understanding, who's not understanding, who's trying to play pranks. So we can just catch people and we can understand our audience also better, sir. Yeah.
Right. Good. Thank you.
Right, sir.
Gurmail Singh has not spoken today. Okay. Who would like to speak?
So may I?
Yeah, please.
So as per my understanding, a value addition, like for the communication to be more effective in view of from the trainer's perspective, hand gestures play a very important role. So when we talk about hand gestures, if one is communicating with open palm, so that means your palms are open and they are facing upward. So they are indication of openness, trustworthiness, and honesty. And if you're speaking with your audience with closed palm and facing downwards, so it's an indication of your indicating of power and authority. So one
Right.
should use the open palm, and there's a third one which is known as differentiation. So basically your both hands are facing upwards and onto side of your shoulders. So
Right.
that is indication of, basically your audience is able to follow your thoughts very well. So most of the trainers you would see, they would have both their hands facing up, open,
Right.
and onto your sides, onto your
Right.
shoulder side. So your audience is able to, follow your thoughts fully. So this
That's
adds on to your effective communication as a trainer.
very good, very good. See, continuing with that is also some of the new trainers, in the beginning when they have less confidence, they also have this clenched fists, right? Right. So that also gives away this that the person is not very confident and is nervous or something like that, right? Okay. So it gives a negative. Yeah. Nivedita, some points from you. We haven't listened to Pooja today. And Dhananjay and Durga. Okay, so what we'll do is Suma, any point from you? Okay, so if it is okay, we have covered a few points on this. This is one area which is very, very large, very big, right? And we are ongoingly improving on our communication skills. We keep learning new tricks. Tricks, and we continue learning new techniques in this area. And the best thing is to keep observing other trainers and keep picking up from their way of communicating, that as to what is it that something special they are doing, so that is leading to their being very effective, and then try to adapt it to yourself and try to improve yourself as a more effective trainer, right? So I think what I'll do is, if it is okay, we'll close right now, unless there is any other question which is there, yeah. Are there any questions?
I have just one question. I didn't know whether I missed that part or not. Owing to the situations that I just saw, I want to ask you whether you talked about body language, which non-verbal communication, which makes a trainer seem more approachable to the audience.
Yeah. So as people had said, when you have a facial expression which is inviting, which is not like very dominating. Another gestures which are showing that you are an open person, you are not defensive, and you can be trusted upon. There are these things which put together create an aura around you, around your personality, that the people typically can come forward and open up to you. So whether the students, whether the trainees, they will get open to you. And after that experience, they will be in fact trying to figure out next time whether they whether they have to be open with you or not. Because if you have been able to communicate in an open manner during their first attempt, then they will come back again to you. But if you have not been, then they will next time not really try to do it. The important thing that is there is make the people feel confident, right? Do not say communicate down or speak down to them. मीन्स उनको ऐसे नहीं लगना चाहिए कि जो मेरा ट्रेनर है वो हाई पेडेस्टल पर है और मेरे को बहुत छोटा या मतलब कि बहुत ज्यादा, जिसे कहते हैं कि क्या कहते हैं, हिंदी का वर्ड मेरे दिमाग में आ रहा है, तुच्छ। ये बड़ा तुच्छ, मतलब ऐसा वो है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। गिव रेस्पेक्ट टू योर स्टूडेंट, गिव रेस्पेक्ट टू योर ट्रेनर, and then they will start coming back to you and would seek from you even on a one-to-one basis, right? So create that sort of confidence with people, create that sort of environment around you. That will be useful, right?
Sir, could you also throw some light on the gestures and postures portraying that person, I mean, trainer as an approach? Any gestures or postures you would recommend or, suggest us?
Yeah, we talked about that. Perhaps you were disturbed today, you, and rightfully so.
Okay, so that has already been done. Then I would watch it on the YouTube session.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll share with you one or two videos which will help you, right? So and that will be, they will be available to you on the WhatsApp group, right? Okay.
Okay.
Right. I'll do that. I understand that. Yes, you are asking for some more gestures which will be useful for the trainers, right? To make them more effective at training, right? So I think what we'll do is we'll close today's session a little early, but I do hope, right? And yeah. Okay, chalo. Bye bye. Take care of yourself, right? See you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Take care, sir.
Thank you
sir.
very much, sir. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And fill the form also, feedback form also, which has
Surely.
been put there. Right.
Sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
सुन, क्या बोल रही थी? खत्म हो रहा है अभी, 7:30 बजे सदगुरु चालू होगा, गुरु के बाद शुरू चालू होगा। पूरा दिल्ली का ऑफिस में है, इसके रिजल्ट भी डिक्लेयर हुआ। अभी तेरे को कल का ड्यूटी लगा है ना सुबह, अभी आज जो बनाया वो बचेगा ना कल का। सुबह क्या बनाया? आज जो बनाएगा वही है ना, सुबह का नाश्ता बनाएगा बस।